Welcome to the Real Board Loft. I'm Forman. Today we got Jason Forrest with us. Jason, welcome.
Thank you.
And we are talking about Crime surfboards and also the Crime Evolution, which are the two boards that Jason and I are holding. These boards are 8'6" long, and they are originally inspired by Wayne Lynch's Evolution board. They are a wide point back, single fin. You can see the boards, obviously, wide points like push further back in the board. Super fun to surf. But before we get into the performance of these boards, I want to talk about Crime as like a soft top brand and like how they're different than all the other soft tops that are out there. So I got these boards last year from Crime. They sent me the 8'6" Evolution and then a 7'5" Longfish, which is right here. And these guys were like, hey, you guys, like, check out our soft tops, check out our soft tops. And I can't tell you how many calls we get about, hey, you got to check out our soft top. Hey, check out my soft top. Check out my soft top. You know, and it's like, hey, man, we're kind of full on soft tops right now. And Jason Miller at Crime was like, no, man, like, just try them. Yeah. Like, I'll send you two. I was like, send me two sounds good. You got me, right? So I picked out this one, the 8'6" Evolution and the 7'5" Longfish, because I wanted to pick out boards that I would like to ride. That I would actually have in my own quiver, like as a hardboard, and then also that I thought people around the shop would want to try, you know? And so immediately surfing both of these boards made me understand why they're completely different than the other soft tops that are out there, because there's like this whole, like, and it's fun and people have a good time doing it, and so you're never gonna like bag on someone having a good time, but there's like this whole like kind of soft top thing going on right now where people are like downplaying performance and riding these big like super thick railed like hog soft tops and like, I'm riding my softie, and like bumper boating into each other and like kind of hipstering out, and like it's fun and all, but like the performance of the board goes away. Right. When I got these two boards, we had like a really good run of surf, like super fun, like a lot of good sand points and some fun days at the lighthouse. And I started riding these boards like, because it's actually a nice two-board quiver, kind of covers a lot of range in a lot of different conditions. And I was like blown away that I just kept riding these and not my quote-unquote hardboards. You look at the
people made fun of you too.
People were making fun of me. They're like, look at Trip. He's like, there's like, you're totally right, dude.
They're like, hey, are all your Christensens dinged?
People were ripping on me like, are all your Christensens dinged or dung or done? You know, and or like, oh, that must be an old age thing. Now you're just transitioning to soft tops, you know? And but the reason I was riding them is just for the performance. The construction on these things is, you know, most soft tops are just like stringerless foam, little to no fiberglass, and then a soft shell on the outside of it, where these have like actual performance constructions like EPS blanks, like plywood stringers, 6-ounce e-glass top and bottom, epoxy resin, and then just the EVA deck on the board. But the thing that really jumps out, like when you look at the Evolution, is the wide point back, and then also how thin they are. Like the thickness on these things, like on the rail, there's literally nothing. And it's really funny, like Jeffrey will give you a zoom in on the 7'5" Longfish, but even in their graphic, they're like, your soft top sucks. Here's your rail of your soft top, and here's our rail. And you could actually look at this and you could actually see the difference, because a typical soft top rail is like a square like this, where these things are like the most foiled down 8'6" that I've ever ridden. And it's also a soft top, like as a sidebar, but the performance is there, and that's why I kept riding them. Like when everybody was making fun of me, I was like, I'm riding them just because they work. Yeah. You know, and the performance on them was really, really good. Jason, why don't you talk about like why you bought your 8'6" Evolution? Yeah,
I mean, I don't buy that many boards, and this one I bought straight up. Right. You know, I go to the beach a lot with my family, and the only time I really ride a longboard or a bigger board like this is kind of summertime, small wave days with my family. And I'd had a, you know, traditional nose rider, and it was just hard to manage in the lineup with kids on the inside, or managing it on the beach with like sand in the wax and all kinds of stuff like that. So I had petitioned you to borrow this one, and I borrowed this one for a weekend and took it out, and right out of the gate it was just incredibly fun. And you made me give it back really quickly, which I was kind of disappointed in because you wanted it back faster than I wanted to give it back.
Because I use it.
Because you use it, exactly. You were using it. I actually had to deliver it to the beach to you.
Right.
And so the next day I came in the shop and bought this one because I knew that I needed one because we had some family days coming up. And I've just ridden the crap out of it since then. Like, it is on top of the car, ready to go for those family beach days. And it's great because it's super fun. Like, if I throw it on the beach and a little kid steps on it or whatever, it doesn't really matter.
Yep.
If there's sand in the board bag like there is, it doesn't really matter. You know, it's really fun. The first session I had on it was with my son and his buddy who were both learning.
Yep.
And they were on their softboards, and I was like in a board pile with like 2 kids with like my board and their boards, and like a kid went over top of me, and I was like, this is sick. This is exactly why I got this board. And then I paddled out and like got away from the outside all the way to the inside and actually was able to surf rather than like on a traditional softboard when I would just like surf and have fun, but this I was like having that much more fun.
Exactly.
Because the board actually surfs well.
Yeah.
So that's my crime story, and I'm sticking to it, you know, and I'm really glad I got this board and it's staying on my truck forever.
I mean, just the lack of, it's like all the little things that add up, you know, like,
exactly.
Like I don't bag mine. Like, I don't put them in a bag. I throw both of them on top of the car. I tie them on top of each other, right? So when was the last time that you took 2 of your boards and put them on top of each other like this?
And then strapped them on the car.
And then strap them down, right? Like, what would you have? Like, you would have a wax imprint, like, of the top board, like, totally on the bottom of the board, right?
In the butt.
And then, like, what you're saying, like, you throw them on the beach. Like, the day that you delivered it to me, like, we had, like, 25
people,
25 people on the beach.
Right.
Grills going, like, tents, chairs. And there was, like, sand going everywhere. And, like, these things were just, like, sitting on the beach, and I didn't care.
Same,
Otherwise, like, you know, you would come back and there'd be a pile of sand in your wax, or your wax would be completely melted.
Your wax is melted off, it's melted off. Then you got to figure out how to, you want to go out for a quick session and your wax is all melty and sandy. Yeah. That was the main thing for me, and then the fact that it surfs really good.
Surfs really good.
It surfs really good. So I found myself grabbing it when I normally would not have been grabbing a longboard.
Yeah.
Like today.
Yeah.
You know, like how we surf today, which was super fun.
So Jason, it's worth mentioning, Evolution comes in one size, which is the right size, which is this size, right? 8.6. I don't even know what the width and the thickness are. It's just, actually, I've never known it, which is also kind of strange, right? Maybe it's that softy thing, like my brain's melting.
Yeah.
But 8.6 comes in one size. The Evolution is an 8.6. I'm 6'2", 210. What's your height and weight?
5'8", 160.
Right, so pretty big spread, like over 50 pounds. And it's the right size.
We're both stoked on it.
You know, and I would definitely say somebody a good click bigger than me could still ride it. And then obviously smaller than you could ride it as well. So it's the one size you need. It's the Evolution 8.6 from Crime. Let's talk about like wide point back surfing. And so this was of hard boards, and I mean, I've ridden some like wide point back longboards, but this thing actually got me really jacked on like wide point back, like shorter boards, you know, like shorter than longboards. Just because of like that, all of the width and all the curve is like underneath like where your feet are, and like the board just has like a nice like kind of swivel.
It really flows
to
really
it.
Good, yeah. Super fun.
The other thing I noticed is like having all that width back, like it helps get the board into the wave. Like the board's
a glide when you're paddling.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of volume to the board because it's pretty thin, but like that wide point back and that big butt on the board acts as like a big surface to get pushed in to the wave. So like when you cock the board and let it go, like it just wants to go. Yeah,
I would say I've noticed that too. Like, I mean, it's an 8.6, so it's not huge. It's not like a 9.6 or even a 9.0. And it has incredible glide and wave catching ability that has made it really fun for me.
I'm looking at the fin that you have on it. We'll talk a little bit about fins.
I think we both have the same fin, right?
Yep.
We both have the 9.
Yep, it's a 9-inch Christensen fin. I've got the FCS version, which is nice because you can adjust the position of the fin, like, you know, at the beach or in the water without a screwdriver. You've got the screw-in version of that. And these boards have a wider tail, so it does like to have a little bit more fin. Like you would look at it and be like, oh, 8.6, like I'll ride like, you know, in an 8.6 mid-length, you would typically ride like an 8.0 fin. Go small, but this board actually likes to have a little bit fin because of how much area is back here. And if you don't have enough fin in it, or if you have the fin too far forward, you could actually start like drifting the fin a little bit in the turns. So you want to make sure you put enough in, and like I found this fin to work really, really well, the 9-inch FCS Christensen.
I haven't tried anything else, but so far I really like it.
Yeah, let's talk about the deck of the board. So it is a soft top. It does have great grip, and you don't have to wax it. So the majority of soft tops you do have to wax, right? Because they're slick, and they almost have like at the beginning, they almost have like this little production oil on the board, which makes them really slick until that wears off.
Yeah.
This board, and you have to wax those boards, right? Which kind of defeats the purpose of, it defeats a lot of the purpose of having a soft.
My son's softboard is covered in sandy wax right now.
Exactly, right? Which is then you're going to just get crushed. So these boards you don't have to wax, and you also, the first question when you say you don't have to wax it is, well, do you have to wax it in cold water?
Yeah,
and I never waxed it, and I was wearing like a hooded wetsuit.
Which I find that incredible, that it wouldn't get hard, but it's
it works all the way through the winter, because you can see the wetsuit outline here, and which is nice. Again, like from like having to change the wax as the seasons progress, like from cold to warm, it's one less thing you have to do. Like you don't have like your wax is getting messed up, like you don't have wax getting onto the bottom of the other board. But the other thing about this is that there is like a give and take, right? So like what you and I both noticed is in wetsuits, no problem. Like in shorties, no problem. But then when you go to your first day in board shorts, like inside the thigh, a little bit of chafe, right? So it does have, it is like it's got some grip, right?
I mean, if it's going to be grippy without wax, there's going to be some chafe.
Yeah.
So the first day I surfed it was an all-day beach day with my family, and I definitely got pretty rashed up.
Yep.
But that was like a week ago, and then today, no problems.
Right.
So I don't know if I really did toughen up there and create a little thigh callus there.
Yeah, right.
But you know, today it was no worries. I mean, we were out there for 2 hours or something.
Yeah, and it was fine.
Sandy water that would rash you up.
I noticed the same thing, like that day you dropped it off with me at the beach, like I got a rash that day, and then today, like not nearly as bad. Right. You know, and a lot of people are in wetsuits year round. Like if you look at like, you know, New Jersey and further north on the East Coast, or California all year, you're in some sort of legged wetsuit.
You're not going to be
the whole year. So
no issues.
The Crime Evolution, awesome board. You know, we talked a little bit about Crime and like kind of the whole build of the board and the design of the board. I mean, these things straight up, like this board specifically, straight up goes head to head with hardboards at a lower price point and zero maintenance.
And you get a few of those extras that we talked about. Like you're literally like, I found myself like sitting on this thing in the lineup and like aha moment, like maybe more people should be riding this construction of a board, just because the performance is there, but like the ease is just ridiculous. Awesome, Jason. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. Crime Evolution, also a little cameo appearance with the Crime Longfish. If you have any question on any of the crimes or would like to order one from us, you can always reach us at the shop, 252-987-6000, or look us up online, realwatersports.com/surfing. Thanks for tuning in.